Hi, Jewish Mom. In Rabbi Niven's Chabura, and for the last few weeks, we've been learning about the stories from Rabbi Akiva's life in honor of the Sfirat Omer that we're now in. This module that we're learning about Rabbi Akiva has really reminded me of some of my favorite stories about Rabbi Akiva, and I just wanted to tell you and probably remind you two stories that I personally found extremely inspirational. One of the stories is it's how, so Rabbi Akiva, probably all of you know, that until the age of 40, he was a complete haaretz. He was a complete ignoramus. He didn't know the first thing about Judaism, about, wisdom. He didn't know anything. And at the age of 40, he did not even know the alphabet, right? So what happened? So first of all, he had a wife wife Rachel, who's really the heroine of this story because Rabbi Akiva's story, because she's the one who had, as Rabbi Niven puts it, she had X-ray vision to see the potential of Akiva to become a great Torah scholar, and in fact, he became the greatest rabbi in all of history, Rabbi Akiva. But what started? So it was Rachel's faith. But I think that what for Akiva, the Gemara says that what really set Akiva on his path towards becoming Rabbi Akiva was that one day he was sitting by a stream, and he saw drops of water falling on a stone, drop by drop by drop, and he saw that just for years and years, that drop of water falling, it made a hole in the stone. And Rabbi Akiva said, wow, if something soft like water can make a hole in something as hard as a stone, so definitely, Torah can change Torah, drop by drop by drop going into my heart, can change me. And that was what set Rabbi Akiva onto the path of becoming Rabbi Akiva. The greatest rabbi of all time was believing that drop by drop by drop, that he can change, that he can become greater than who he was at the age of 40. Okay, so another story that I found very inspirational, was that so how was Rabbi Akiva supposed to start learning? It was complicated. He's 40 years old, and he also had sons. It seems from a previous marriage, something like that. So they didn't even know the alphabet. So how were they going to start learning this drop by drop by drop? So it turned out the only way for them to learn was to go to the local cheder, to the local nursery school, and to learn with the 4-year-olds. As Rabbi Akiva had like a funny way of saying this. She said, imagine Rabbi Akiva, he's sitting in Gan, and how like the Ganenet, makes funny hand movements. Like she's like, okay, Yilidim, kach, and kach, and kach, and kach. And imagine like Rabbi Akiva going, da, 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 and da, da, da. Just to sort of bring it home, just how humiliating this must have been for Rabbi Akiva, like to have gone to an actual nursery school with 4-year-olds to learn the alphabet. So this incredible story that Rachel, so what she did is she took a donkey and she planted flowers on the back of the donkey. It was kind of like a garden on the back of the donkey. It was a very, very weird sight. And she sent Akiva to the market for her and said, Akiva, could you bring me X, whatever she needed? And so how was he going to schlep the stuff back? Of course, he had to take the donkey with the flowers planted on his back, in like the pot on his back. Okay, the first time he went, then he saw like everyone's laughing at him. Everyone's like, "Oh, Akiva, what are you doing with that crazy donkey and the crazy flowers on the back of the donkey? Whoever heard of something so idiotic?" Okay, so then he came back like feeling really embarrassed. But not much longer. That not long after that, then Rachel again says, Akiva, could you go to the market? I ran out of Y. Could you please bring me whatever next thing she did? Then he went again, reluctantly, he went again carrying, the donkey with the flower bed on his back. And it was a little bit less embarrassing. And he realized that actually, and after doing that several times, like it really didn't bother him. It didn't bother him that people were kind of like, that it didn't bother him to be doing something so embarrassing. And also he saw that people really lost interest in him. Like people, by however many times around, no one was mocking him anymore. They were kind of used to it. And the same thing he realized was the same thing with like a 40-year-old man going to cheder. It's not, initially it's embarrassing, but it's not something, okay, people make fun of you, it's embarrassing, but people get over it, okay? And you can get over it. You can get over the embarrassment. If you're doing something like for a higher goal. So that lesson really empowered Akiva to go on, to become the greatest rabbi of all time, and training, teaching eventually 24,000 students who we know then died. And then also when they died during this period, during Sfar Omer, he started again, drop by drop by drop, just taking his next step, not getting discouraged, just going and keeping on going. And then he raised, then he educated he trained a new set of like the great rabbis who could lead the coming generations. Okay, so so I'm talking about this just so what it means to me, why it's so meaningful to me is I just see, I've been talking a bit about how this period, the 72 days of Chesed, leading from now to Shavuot, leading from the 25th day of 25th day of Adar up to Shavuot. So now we're entering like the last few weeks. We have about a month left, a little bit less than a month before Shavuot, and this is the time, just like by drop by drop by drop, to take the small steps towards changing. This is the most powerful time of the year. The Leshem says, the great Kabbalistic rabbi, the great mystic, the Leshem, the grandfather of Harav Yashiv Zatzal. So he says this is the best time of the year to work on your character traits. And it's really drop by drop by drop, by these microscopic actions. So I told you what I've been doing is what I do is I've been taking when my kids do something cute. Then I take a mental picture and I go like this. This is how I take a mental picture. And I don't even my camera, my phone with the camera broke, whatever. So now I'm going like this. And I just find like it's just so, I've been doing it now for weeks. And it's so powerful. I feel like it really is transforming. I know like this morning, so I have a certain child who especially gets on my nerves. And this is a child last year who I was especially working on this child all the 72 days of Chesed. So now I'm kind of working on all of my children and taking mental pictures of times when I find them cute and like I have like a heartwarming scene, I want to take a mental picture. But this specific child is still kind of, I think, definitely my most challenging one. And this morning I was feeling myself getting irritated by this specific child. But then, while I was looking at my children, I was sort of thinking, I'm in my mid 40s. There's a good chance that I'm not going to be the mother of very young children so much longer. Hanging out with these young children, kind of looking at them, and even though there was something, I felt myself getting irritated by a certain child. It's like, oh, mental picture. This isn't going to last forever. I have these little kids here and they're eating cereal and it's so cute. And just like watching them play, little kids, isn't that sweet? Like this isn't gonna last forever. And I feel like I felt like almost instantly, like that kind of feeling of irritation went away because I just felt like I want to like treasure this. I'm gonna treasure this, young children. This isn't gonna last forever, So so I'm just pointing out, like, to you, like, that even if you haven't started with the 72 day of Chesed plan, something that you're doing a microscopic step every day towards something that's like your dream for yourself, something that you would like to change about yourself. Maybe it's something about, overcoming, a certain character trait like anger, or becoming more patient, or wanting to be like a happier mother, and being, enjoying your kids more as I'm doing, having a better relationship with your husband, better shalom bayit, being more organized, whatever it is, trying to take a microscopic step towards reaching that. And there's incredible potential in this period of the year. So I would to really change who we are. And year after year, I see that it really makes a difference in my life. So I'd really encourage you, okay, You didn't start yet? Start now. Start just microscopic, something microscopic every single day. And you'll just see it's like that drop, drop, drop. And the reason I want to remind us of the embarrassment story about the donkey going to the shuk was because we can be embarrassed. Like, okay, I'm the worst. I'm so terrible. I'm so terrible, and I can't even, and I have terrible shalom bite, and I can't get my act together, and I'm the worst mother, and you can become like this. You can become like so disparaging about your situation that you feel like there's no hope. Like, okay, why even try? Like, I'm so awful. But really, all of us have the potential. Every single human being has the potential, drop by drop by drop, to improve, to become better, like to become the person that you really want to become. And don't be embarrassed. Like, don't be embarrassed. Just start where you are. Just, wherever you are, however disorganized, however awful mother you are, however awful wife you are, whatever terrible you are, however, terrible your temper is, and however much you yell at your kids, and however many bad habits you have, and whatever, doesn't matter. Just start now. Just remember Rabbi Akiva taking that donkey to the shuk. He was, first time he was embarrassed, and he was like a little bit less embarrassed, and he just remembered, okay, no, I want to do this. I want to learn the alphabet. I'm going to go to Cheder, and you too can take that first step to moving out of where you are into like this more, to moving more towards where you want to get to. So in conclusion, I want to remind us, Rabbi Akiva, two really inspirational stories. One about, how did he start on his path? Was that, that he was sitting by a stream, and he saw this rock, the water falling on a rock, and he said, so too, if water can make a hole in a rock, so too Torah can change me. Torah can totally change who I am, drop by drop by drop. Also, the story of Rabbi Akiva, when it was he had, how did he learn to start learning Torah? The only way to learn the alphabet was for him to go to Cheder with like the 4-year-olds. So what did he do? It was very, very embarrassing. It was so embarrassing. It was so incredibly embarrassing. So his wife said, okay, take the donkey to the shuk with the garden on top, with like the flower pot on top. Very embarrassing. But they got less embarrassing and less embarrassing and less embarrassing until he really didn't feel the embarrassment anymore. And so you too, wherever you are, wherever you're holding, whatever you want to work on, you think like your situation is so hopeless and it's so impossible and you'll never, you are just a hopeless case. It's not true. Wherever you are, just start now. Just start now. Start that drop by drop by drop. Okay, and on that note, I will bless all of you Jewish ones with an amazing week.